Kathy Klingler, CMO of Santander Bank. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
Tell me a little bit about sort of the latest goings-on with the bank. I know you recently launched a new campaign, and that's part of this whole rebranding effort on the part of Santander.
Yes.
In the U.S.
Yeah. So maybe I'll take you back a little bit to our journey. So it really started in 2009 when Santander acquired Sovereign here in the United States in the Northeast corridors, primarily where our branches are. And it was always our intention back then to rebrand the bank from Sovereign Bank to Santander when the time was right. And these past 4 years have been a lot about, I would say it's not really about a name change, it's about really providing a better experience for our customers. So we spent a lot of time over those years really stabilizing our financials, integrating our IT platform. We had many different platforms across different banks, bringing them together as one, and really making sure that when we launched the brand, that we could offer something more to our customers.
Okay, so now obviously though, you have to be aware of and careful to not lose your existing Sovereign customers who had built up such loyalty, right, to that bank and that name. What did you have to do to make sure that they're going to come along, you know, for the ride, essentially?
So our existing customers were probably our starting point, to be honest with you. We talked an awful lot about the need to retain those loyal customers that have been with us for a long time. So in July, as you know, we rebranded in October. In July, we started a campaign to reach out to them. Everything from a personal letter from our CEO to every one of our customers. We created email campaigns out to all of them. We created a separate page on our website that talked about FAQs, our own call center number that they could call in and ask questions, and across all of our branches we consistently gave information so they can answer any questions. And I would say it went really, really smoothly. We felt our customers were really well informed. We didn't see any type of loss among our existing base, and you know, it was really important to us to make sure that that was done properly.
Okay, so mid-October you decided this is the time, we're going to go broad with this ad campaign, a national ad campaign, right?
So the campaign was two-pronged. So on October 17th, we officially rebranded from Sovereign to Santander across our entire branch network. So everything from signs to ATMs to website, everything that said Sovereign became Santander. And the campaign, and included in that was a campaign, an advertising campaign. And it was not national, it was regional within our footprint.
Sure. Yep. And then you started with your radio ads. I know there were various radio ads. I've heard some of them. And initially, you decided to go straight to the issue of how do you pronounce the name of the bank, which is hard to determine if you don't know, if you're not familiar with it. So, you know, why was that a great starting point? Why did you feel you needed to address that out of the gate?
So maybe I can talk a little bit about the campaign. So it was two-pronged. We started first with brand message, and then 2 weeks later we focused on a new product that we launched, and I can talk about that separately. And when we launched the brand, it was a combination of TV, radio, print, out-of-home, digital, mobile, across the board to try and reach our customer base and the broader market. And if you've seen the television commercial, which has sort of a light bulb theme to it, our objective was to introduce ourselves humbly, to say, hello, we're Santander, to let people know that we're here for them, that you know, our pillars are about listening and enabling and helping customers make progress. And there's really not a lot of conversation in that television commercial because we wanted to make it about the customer, not about us. So if you've seen it, you probably will notice we don't really talk a lot about us. We show different walks of life, different types of consumers, and that the objective is, you know, we hope that when they look for a bank that they'll look to us. So we started first with that campaign, and it wrapped around that is all the other assets that you've seen out there. At the same time, you know, we had heard a lot of people ask us about how you say Santander. So we decided we wanted to do a radio commercial about how do you say Santander and not take ourselves too seriously. Show that there's sort of a, you know, banking is a serious topic, but yes, but there's also an opportunity to have some fun with it. And it's been incredibly successful, actually. I was commenting to somebody that now I talk to people and actually know how to say Santander, so I think it's really working. It was a lot of fun to do.
That's great. So in the wake of the financial industry crisis, you know, the key insights that you sort of took, that whole, like, it's not about us, it's about them.
Yes.
You know, how much of that is related to just you and sort of your positioning, and how much is related to the broader sort of, you know, repercussions of that crisis?
So it's a great question. We spent about a year. We set up something we called a community, which had about 1,000 different customers and prospects. And it was important to us that we understood how people feel about banking in general, their existing banking relationships, how they feel just about money. So a lot of our research was more general, not specific to us. And what we came back with was probably things that seem very commonplace, but maybe aren't necessarily commonplace in how banks are operating. So first of all, trust with banks is still, questionable. People still have this sense of trust issues. They talked a lot about listening. This came up a lot, that people feel like banks aren't listening to them, they're not getting to know them, they still feel like a transaction, and they're looking for that stronger partnership and relationship. They talked a lot about how hard it is to do business still with banks. It's not simple, there's still a lot of jargon, banks have a lot of different products that all look very similar, and that they want more simplicity. But then at the end of the day, they talked about wanting to make progress. It was interesting, one of the gentlemen in our community said that, I'm 40 years old, but my money in my bank account looks like I'm 20 years old. And I really just want a banking relationship that gets to know me and helps me make progress, even on the most basic things like budgeting and financials.
So from here, where do you go? I know you've got Robert DeNiro as your celebrity spokesperson.
Have you seen this one?
How did his persona play into this sort of trust-building component that you're trying to develop?
So as I mentioned, there was this two-prong approach. First was the introduction of the brand. We wanted to sort of introduce ourselves, and then 2 weeks later, on the 28th of October, we've launched a new product called Extra 20 Checking. And that is sort of a delivery on those three pillars I talked about, which was listening and simplifying and enabling. The product is very, very simple, that if you do direct deposit with us of $1,500 or more and 2 online bill pays, we will pay $20 every month. No bells, no secrets, no hidden fees. Everyone says, what's the secret? There really isn't. It's that simple. And that all came from consumer insight that we did. So when we talked about launching the product, we said, the product's pretty unexpected. Why don't we look at who could be sort of unexpected person associated with it? So we sort of started at the top, who would be the dream, and DeNiro was on the top as somebody who would be very unexpected, who has not done, any significant type commercials in the past. And, he was fantastic.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.